So we got the full summary for chapter 1100 here. We're going through the whole chapter, so much more. I mean, so much more than what we were able to talk about yesterday. It really does make this chapter so much better, I promise, guys. So anyway, it starts where the last one ended. Kizaru visited Vegapunk's laboratory, and submarines like Drake were following him. It's explained that Vegapunk just moved into the building after the accident in Punk Hazard. So he didn't realize that there were spy Dendenmushis inside the lab. So the accident in Punk Hazard is what we saw in Caesar's flashback. Like he hit that self-destruct button or whatever, and then it caused like that big explosion with like the chemical leak and all that stuff. But as for him not realizing about the spy Dendenmushi in the lab, it's because at the end of the previous chapter, we saw that Saturn was like eavesdropping on Vegapunk. Like he heard what he was talking about with Kuma and making the deal to save Bonnie in order to make him a pacifista and all that stuff. So I guess this is just Oda clearing up. It's like, yeah, Vegapunk didn't know because it was just new. Because otherwise, you know, you would assume Vegapunk would have some kind of contingency to know about being bugged, you know, since he is like the technology master. Kizaru brought Saturn's Dendenmushi because he wanted to talk with Vegapunk. Saturn said that he's aware of Vegapunk illegally negotiating with a pirate. However, as Kuma would make an excellent host for clones, Saturn will allow the deal. But Saturn had 3 additional conditions to the deal. Kuma must become a warlord, replacing an unnamed warlord who was defeated by Ace a few days ago. Kuma must become a human weapon, undergoing a cyborg surgery, and Kuma's mind must be erased when his surgery ends. So this is huge. New agendas, or should I say old agendas, being brought back here by Oda. Ace defeated an unnamed warlord who was replaced by Kuma. This is fascinating, and that guy must have been a weakling. So yeah, good thing that he got out of there, but it's like, is Oda gonna tell us who this is? Is it somebody we already know? Or is this just, I don't know, something to make Ace look cooler? Because Oda keeps retroactively like giving Ace feats and things that happened in the story to like keep him alive because, I don't know, nostalgia of the filler from the Alabasta anime. But still a cool little addition here, I suppose. I just want to know who it was. Vegapunk was furious since wiping a cyborg's mind is the same as killing a man. Saturn replies to him categorically. He says, "You are in no position to argue with me, marine scientist." However, Kuma cried in happiness because he finally would be able to save Bonnie. Vegapunk explained that Bonnie's surgery will take 6 months, and after that, she must rest for 1 year before she can go outside. On the other hand, Kuma's surgery will take 2 years. Saturn said Bonnie will be their hostage. If Bonnie is cured, there's a risk that Kuma may run away with her. So after her 6-month treatment, Bonnie must be in the world government custody for 1 year. The world government will release Bonnie after Vegapunk erases Kuma's mind, and to prevent them from running away together. Kuma won't be allowed to meet Bonnie ever again after her 6-month treatment. Kuma agreed to Saturn's conditions, but in exchange, he asked to send Bonnie to Sorbet Kingdom after the 6-month treatment to prevent her from knowing the truth about this deal. Saturn agreed, since it's as long as they are under the world government's eyes, anywhere is the same. After the deal, we see a montage of Kuma, Bonnie, Vegapunk, and Sentomaru spending time together and growing closer to one another during the next 6 months. Kizaru is also very close to them. We see him joining a pizza party and dancing with them. We can see Bonnie and Kuma's surgery too. For example, we see Vegapunk changing Kuma's shoulders. So this is a really particularly interesting sequence because, of course, Kizaru getting close to them and dancing and stuff, but apparently the dance that they're performing here is the Nika dance. I mean, that's pretty cool, and it goes to show that Kizaru for sure is a face. Like, yeah, he started off as a heel like many characters, but he is becoming like a full-blown face at this point. And I honestly should have seen it because he has the light Logia, and the light, you know, is like the sun versus the darkness, the moon in this series, just like it is in One Punch Man. And also, you know, the 3 admirals represent like the 3 friends that Momotaro makes in that Japanese folklore. Like Momotaro meets a dog, a pheasant, and a bird. And the 3 admirals are based off of that, like Kizaru, Yellow Monkey, Aokiji, Blue Pheasant, and Akainu, Red Dog. So I guess that means that all of the admirals are going to have face turns, including Akainu for sure, and they'll probably all befriend Luffy in some way. But also, I guess Saturn didn't see this happen, because if he saw Kizaru doing the Nika dance, he probably would have executed him on the spot. After 6 months, Bonnie's surgery ended, so she was brought back to the Sorbet Kingdom, where Connie and others welcome her. Connie had a white hat, which looked the same as the hat that Bonnie wore at Sabaody. Bonnie will live in the church for another year under medical team's care. But the medical team were all government agents. Their leader was a CP8 agent named Alpha. She's a sexy nurse. Sure, why not, Oda? It's also possible that Oda is like competing with Jujutsu Kaisen here, because recently they had a chapter with Kenjaku becoming a sexy nurse. Kuma said goodbye to Bonnie with his last words to her. Bonnie just laughs, since she didn't know that she will never see Kuma again. Kuma says, "Thank you for being born, Bonnie." Kuma then went out to sea to do his duty as a new warlord. We could see another montage with all of the former warlords' reactions to the news. Alvida, Kobe, Dragon, Sabo, and Koala appeared too. Doflamingo says, "Kuma the Tyrant? Looks like we have another villain in line." Miss All Sunday says, speaking to Crocodile, "Are you interested?" And Crocodile says, "It doesn't matter. Did you get rid of the guy who saw the artificial rain ship?" That's of course tying back to the big plot point in Alabasta. Alvida says, "Supposedly he's a man close in size to that of Whitebeard." Kobe, "Who do you think is stronger, me or him?" Kobe says, "Of course it's you, Lady Alvida." So that makes me wonder, like, yeah, Whitebeard is pretty big. I mean, I don't think he's a buccaneer, but he's got to be something more than just a human, right? I mean, I'm sure it will be revealed that over 800 years ago or whatever, all of the races in the One Piece world were kind of like mingling and making offspring and whatnot, and just led to everybody being all different shapes and sizes the way that they are. Just taking a guess. In Whitebeard's ship, Ace and Jinbei are talking about Kuma with Whitebeard, Marco, and Teach. Ace says, "Jinbei, a successor has been chosen." Great. And Jinbei says, "You're the one to talk, Ace. I'm reading it right now. A former king. We also have a current king among us too. Pirate world sure has changed." So this is a pretty cool little interaction in the flashback. So Jinbei fought Ace at some point, and they became cool after that. And Jinbei, of course, is cool with Whitebeard because Whitebeard is cool with Fishman Island. And this is like after Fisher Tiger had died and the Sun Pirates had disbanded. Hancock says, "This has nothing to do with me, since I will never participate in the meeting." Gloriosa says, "Snake Princess, wait. Even if so, you should still have the knowledge of it." And Moria says, "A paw human? What the heck kind of power is that?" And Dragon says, "Nothing. Go figure." It's like, yeah, Dragon, I didn't really expect you to do much here except look menacingly in a panel and kind of sweat a little bit. After this montage, we could see that Kuma is writing a letter to Bonnie where he said that he's exploring many islands that they could travel together one day in the future. In the last page of the chapter, we can see a teenager, Luffy, running away from a tiger in a forest. Luffy says it's mad now. In the last panel, we can see that Kuma's ship was arriving at Fuchsia Village. Kuma received a Dendenmushi call, and a government agent says, "Kuma, we have an order from the government for you. Where are you right now?" Kuma says, "In the East Blue. What's the order?" So this is pretty fascinating because we've never seen this point in time before, I'm pretty sure, right? Like there's kind of like a time skip between Ace leaving Luffy and then Luffy winding up in that barrel that Kobe finds or Alvida finds or whatever. So this is like, I don't know, like a year or 2 years or I don't know, 10 months or something before episode 1 of One Piece, I think. And I wonder if whatever happens here is the catalyst for Luffy finally leaving. I don't think like Luffy met Kuma because, you know, when Luffy saw Kuma, he wasn't like, "Oh, hey, I remember you from Fuchsia Village." So if Kuma is doing anything here, it's going to be possibly without Luffy knowing. Now, what orders are they giving to Kuma here? Not sure, of course. Why is Kuma at Fuchsia Village? Maybe he knew that Dragon's son Luffy was there and he just wanted to like check up on him for some reason, since Dragon never would. not really sure. I don't really think anyone knows that Luffy ate the gum fruit at this point, because I doubt Shanks went around telling people. Well, you know, people that he didn't trust, of course. But also, I wouldn't be surprised if Kuma somehow knows it, because, you know, these retconned flashbacks can just include anything. Such as, like, Kuma knowing about Nika, you know, remember that? But anyway, the next chapter is probably going to be incredible, because, you know, something is going to happen that leads to Luffy, I don't know, leaving the island maybe or something. Or maybe it was Kuma the whole time that pushed Luffy in motion to go on his journey to become the new Nika and to bring the dawn, right? I mean, it makes sense. Since Kuma is kind of like the prophet of Joy Boy at this point, right? Is that like his purpose in the story? So if anyone were to be the guiding hand to Luffy, it would be him. Other than Shanks, who is, you know, a dirty celestial dragon. But that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. And if you like the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.